Hello, all of you. Welcome to the second class for capital and revenue expenditure. Once we know how to bifurcate capital and revenue expenditure, we can pass the journal entry correctly. And if it is a capital expenditure, we can take it to the balance sheet. If it is a revenue expenditure, we can put it in the P&L account. Okay, right? So yesterday we have done this. I gave you some homeworks also. Put me a message if you're comfortable. Any of you want to read out the answers for the second and fourth problem which I gave as homework. And I want to share the screen first. Look at it, what we have studied. I told you deferred revenue expenditure is now an old term, not much used now. Deferred revenue expenditure is not used much now. Because AS26 and all are clearly saying, yeah. So did you all go through this list? This material is already there with you all. So did you read it? What is capital expenditure? The benefit of which goes beyond 1 year, right? And asset comes into existence, okay? And this expenditure, the benefit of long-term nature, and generally capital expenditure will help you to increase the productivity or the income of the company, or it will help you to reduce the expenses. Anyhow, okay? So this is all about capital expenditure. Now what is revenue expenditure? So revenue expenditure is expenditure, the benefit of which is expired within the year. You pay salary to someone and they are working for, say, 1 month. If you're paying rent to someone, they are also, you are utilizing their premises for 1 month. So the benefit expires in 1 year. Okay. That is what is revenue expenditure. It does not yield a long-term benefit. Okay. Right. And examples are, suppose purchase of machinery is a capital expenditure. Once you purchase machine, you just change the spare parts of it, rent, repairs, insurance. These are of the machinery. These are the expenditure related to revenue. See, even if you do mistake, no, dear students, in exam, that capital ko revenue ko capital treat kiya, the answer, the balance sheet will tell you. We are in accounts class, so every student comes smiling out of exam center. Okay, my balance sheet got tallied. But instead of debiting in P&L account, if you debit at asset, balance sheet will tally, but the profit will be wrong, the capital will be wrong, and so on. Okay? This distinction on, see, this chapter is 3-in-1 important. True and false specific questions are asked from this chapter. The depreciation and machinery accounting also the questions are asked. And this capital expenditure, this is very important for rectification of errors and other chapters of journal entry also. Okay? Did you read this theory question at home? Considerations in determining the capital and revenue expenditure. Very important. Okay. What are the factors which will affect? And then I gave you a list. This list, if you read, it will be clear to you what is capital, what is revenue. Capital receipts, they are not routine. Like partner will not bring capital every day. So these capital receipts are not routine. Then you can say revenue receipts are routine income from sales, from interest, and so on. So capital and revenue receipts distinction is given. Look at this. When a partner brings in capital, it's a capital receipt. When you raise a loan, it's a capital receipt. Interest on investment, revenue receipt, and so on. Okay. Now, very important is if you get this question in true and false. See, this is asked in MCQs also. I'll share with you today at the end of the class. But suppose if this is asked in true and false, then I took the most jumbo question yesterday. True and false, mein you can't write capital, revenue, capital. No. You have to write true and false with reasoning. Like routine overhauling means repair expense of plant and machinery. Routine, they are revenue. But if they are incurred for the first time to before you start using the machinery, then you capitalize it. Okay? Right, right. So shall we start with the second question? Can you all put me a message that you have tried the second question? You have done it in notebook on your own. And now if you are checking the answer, no, I'm honestly saying you will get a genuine confidence. दीप्ति मैम से पढ़ लो अकाउंट्स में उनको 95 है तुमको भी 98 आते नो प्लीज the way out is when I give second and fourth problem as homework, you do it. When I am discussing the answers, you check it. If you get correct, yes, on my own, I got it. I will teach you the concept, then you have to do it independently. Right? Okay? Anyone in the class wants to read out the answer? 2 minutes. I'm here only. You can put me a message in the chat box. Yeah. Any of you are interested in unmuting and doing, then say. Okay. Chalo, we will discuss it. Expenses incurred in connection with obtaining. Yeah, keep sending the answers. Good, good. Just keep sending the answers. The second one, C, R, capital revenue, whatever you want to say. Expenses incurred in connection with obtaining a license. Is it a capital expenditure or revenue expenditure? Capital expenditure. Today I am discussing. Yesterday I made you write the reason. Huh? Now listen, I am saying you. If you have not written, you write it now. Without obtaining the license, you cannot start the factory. And license is obtained for a long time. License is obtained for a, you take licenses for 8 years, 10 years, like that. So, very important is this. Right? So obtaining the license is a capital expenditure. The reason is if you obtain the license, this benefit you will carry on for long period. Okay, so write down capital. 1,000 paid for removal of inventory to a new site. Super. You have a godown at place A. Now you are shifting your godown to place B. So the shifting expense, your stock is shifting. You called an auto trolley, you hired 2-3 workers for loading the goods, unloading and arranging in your new godown. So this shifting of your stock room, is it a capital expenditure or is it a revenue expenditure? You say. It's a revenue expenditure. Is this clear to all of you? It's a revenue expenditure. It's just routine expenditure. Are you doing any add-on to the inventory value? No. See, I am discussing the answers assuming you all have done. If this is face-to-face class, I would have given marker to any one of you. आप आओ board पे लिखो करो and the whole class enjoy this topic as a discussion. Every chapter you will not get this opportunity of discussion. When I teach you depreciation, T format, draw and shuru. Machinery to depreciation. There's no question of discussion. We'll do calculation there. So enjoy this. And if you have a conflicting answer, ma'am, you have said it as revenue. I wrote capital thinking this. Absolutely welcome, please. Don't just accept what I'm saying and write. Take it into your mind that you have followed. Rings and pistons of engine were changed at a cost of 5,000 to get fuel efficiency. So you are doing some expenditure which will increase your income. It will reduce your expenditure, capital. Capital expenditure, bilkul. Rings and pistons of engine were changed at a cost of 5,000. It's a capital expenditure. You have followed or not? Because if you change some routine repairs and spare parts revenue, but if you change some parts and it is going to improve the efficiency. Okay, so जब efficiency improve होगी, your income will increase. It's going to have a long-term benefit, and so capitalize in the books. Money paid to Mahanagar Telephone Nigam for installing telephone and deposit. This is a googly. इसको star mark करो. Some questions when I say star mark, they are very different and important for exam. करो. And this answer I am waiting for all of you. Chat box थोड़ा तो use करो. CR लिख के भेजो. You have paid some deposit to MTNL, Mahanagar Telephone. You know, BSNL, MTNL. We have paid some deposit for installing. You know, they come with their walkie-talkie and they install at your office and all. So you have paid them some money. Is it a capital expenditure or is it a revenue expenditure? Tell me. Yeah. I'm waiting. जो आपको अच्छा लगे वो आंसर, जो अच्छा लगे. Say. Yeah. It's not capital expenditure. It is not capital expenditure. See what is happening. You are paying money for installing a telephone. It's like a deposit. So what answer you will write for this? It's not exactly a capital expenditure, but the treatment is like that. Telephone deposit, you will write it in your balance sheet asset side for 5 years, 7 years, till the time you are having telephone. The day you decide to surrender the your instruments of that telephone, जो walkie-talkie है वो वापस दे दो, number you get it cancelled, they will take back and they'll return your deposit. So frankly speaking, the money what you pay to Mahanagar Telecom and all, this is not a expenditure. Capital भी नहीं है, revenue भी नहीं है. This is a deposit. ठीक है? A factory shed was constructed at a cost of 1 lakh. A sum of 5,000 had been incurred in the construction of temporary huts for storing building material. Okay. So first of all, you have made a factory shed. You know, in factory, sometimes shades are put up for storing the stock and all. So this is very well a capital expenditure. And 5,000 you have spent for putting temporary shade. That is also a capital expenditure. This question we have seen yesterday also. Temporary shade if you put up in the factory, and afterwards, once the building is ready, temporary shade is, demolished. But that expenditure is going to be helpful lifetime for the building. So fifth answer is capital expenditure. Yeah. If you are not able to use the chat box, you can unmute and speak. Is my speed fine the way I'm discussing homeworks? I made you write 2 minutes. Shall I take you to that? I made you write, no, yesterday this, ye dekho. Yesterday we wrote true and false with reasoning. I gave you this flow chart also, all fine. Now today we are discussing the answers. So if you have done, fine. If you have not done, write, no, while I am discussing capital, you can write the reasoning because the benefit of the factory shade is for long term. ठीक है? Chalo. Over to the fourth question. Put your answers in chat. गलत है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं. We will discuss it. अच्छे questions हैं. State with reason whether the following are capital or revenue expenditure. Freight and cartage on the new machine 150 and erection charges 500. Superb. When you buy the new machine, when it is ready to put to use, till the time it is ready to put to use, whatever expenditure you incur, capital or revenue on the machinery, till it is ready to put to use, they are all added. जैसे you got the machinery, you unloaded it in your factory, you erected it at a proper place, you did some all other details, you have put some machinery, some spare parts, some software so that it gets started automatic. So all this freight and cartridge on the new machine, erection charges and all this should be capitalized in the books. It should be capitalized in the books. Okay? Right. Now don't say, there's an argument, yes. Many times students ask me, when I say whatever expenditure you have incurred till you purchase the set, you capitalize. That is true. But so many times when we purchase vehicle, the vehicle ke cost mein hi they add the seat covers and all. Suppose you are buying a car and they add insurance. So insurance you should not add it to the cost, because insurance is for the coming 12 months. Anything goes wrong, insurance company is giving you assurance. We will pay, we will reimburse. So insurance, you are not going to capitalize. Is this clear to all of you? Insurance, you will charge it off as your revenue expense. But remaining all, life tax also we pay on the vehicle, all that is to be added. This is just an extra example I've given. Next, second, fixtures of the book value 2,500 sold off at 1,600 and new fixture of 4,000 were acquired. Yes, cartage on the purchase is 100. So 4,100 new acquired is a capital expenditure. Pehli baat. Yes. Capital expenditure kitna hai new machine pe? 4,100. And now old 2,500 machine you have sold for 1,600. 1,600 is a capital receipt. Related to capital expenditure, plant and machinery, you got capital receipt. So this is a capital receipt, bank account debit to machinery, and now there is 900 a loss, revenue expenditure. Loss on sale of asset is a revenue expenditure, charge it off to the P&L account. मजा आ रहा है या नहीं? Something very basic. हाँ मैम, we know, हम तो P&L में ही डालते हैं. And don't merge loss on plant and machinery on the debit side, profit on furniture on the credit side. Ma'am, can I net off? No, please. Disclosure. AS1 says disclose important items, material items, which are useful to the decision of the users of the financial statement. Show it separately. So shall I repeat? If you have not written, you write it from the screen. 2,500 is a capital expenditure long back. Now you have sold it, you got income. So this is a capital receipt and 900 is the revenue receipt. And new machine purchased 4,100 is the capital receipt. Okay? A sum of 400 was spent on the one second. A sum of 400 was spent on painting of the factory. Now this is a revenue expenditure. Routine, you may be doing denting, painting every Diwali, every Dashera, fine. But if they give the language in the exam that 400 is spent for painting the factory for the first time when you have purchased a second-hand factory and you want to paint it, then you capitalize. Otherwise, 400 spent for painting charge it off to the revenue. Okay, right. Nice. No, is my speed fine? Any problem in ma'am? Fourth question, first bit या ऐसे जो भी है, chat box is open. Keep writing. Keep writing in the chat box. ठीक है? Last one in the fourth. 8,200 spent on repairs before using a second-hand car and ready to put to use. So now what you have done is you are sparing some repairing expense. So normally repairing charge off in the P&L account, but these repairs are for the car which you have purchased. Okay, just you have purchased a second-hand car and some denting, painting, finishing, major repairs you are doing to bring it into the present use. So the first time repairs of the second-hand car, you should capitalize this in the books. Karo. Capitalize it in the books. Clear? Yeah. Just check the fourth question. If you have any doubt, any bit, ask me. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much that it's all clear to all of you. Let us go to next one. If you come up in any other books, any other academies material, any scanner, any different question, okay, then ask me, no problem. ठीक है? Okay, sure. Let us do the fifth one now. Fifth one. State with reason whether the following are capital expenditure or the revenue expenditure. Same kind of the questions. Are you enjoying or not? One more I'll do. Again, you do it on your own and then we will check. Expenses incurred in connection with obtaining a license. This is a capital expenditure. What we have done, we will not check it, discuss it again. 1,000 paid for removal of the stock to the new site. Revenue expenditure, just you are changing the site. Ring and pistons were changed for fuel efficiency, capital expenditure. 2,000 spent on lawyers' fees to defend a suit claiming that firm's factory site belonged to the plaintiff. The suit was not successful. So you have just spent legal fees that someone has claimed that no, this site, this factory is mine. It's a revenue expenditure. You know, routine, some or the other cases are going on for company and you may charge it off as the revenue expenditure. Okay, this is already company's factory. So just against that, if someone has put the charge, it's not doing any value addition to the factory. So routine legal expenses, okay. 10,000 was spent on advertising and the introduction of a new product, benefit of which will be for 4 years. Now, actually, if you check it, 10,000 advertisement benefit for 4 years, you can defer it over 4 years. But new AS 26 intangible assets is saying that you write it off. Even if it's huge expense, you write off and don't defer it. Okay? Right. So 10,000 which is spent on advertisement, you should write both the answers in the exams. ऐसे लिखो. Either you can defer it over 4 years or as per AS 26 write off kar do. See, basic nature of advertisement is revenue. But instead of 1 or 2 years, you paid it together for 2-3 years. So write it off. No problem. Okay? Factory shed was constructed at a cost of 1 lakh. A sum of 5,000 has been incurred for the construction of temporary huts for storing building material. Factory shed was constructed at a cost of 1 lakh and 5,000 you have incurred for temporary. Both these are capital expenditure. I think same question we have seen here, no? यही है, ऐसे दिख रहा है. ठीक है. चलो. Next one. Now these are very interesting. Second hand, Noida constructed a cinema house and incurred the expenditures. Okay. Second hand furniture worth 9,000 was purchased. Repainting of furniture 1,000. Furniture installed by workmen to whom wages you paid 200. See, this is all a capital expenditure. In a cinema, major expenses, chairs and furniture and all. So, are you writing like this in your notebook? Question number 1, first bit, capital expenditure. I hope you all are writing. You listen to my explanation and you write also. And tell me honestly, I am not writing, so is that okay? मैं notebook में नहीं लिख रही हूँ, but मैं discuss कर रही हूँ, आप लिखो. CE, capital expenditure, पूरा 9,000, then repainting 1, 10,000, 10,200. Capital expenditure. Expenses in connection with obtaining a license for running cinema, 20,000 capital expenditure. When you obtain license, you are going to use it for long term. So you will treat it as capital expenditure. During the course of year, cinema company was fined 1,000 for contravention of rules. Now some penalty you have paid, fine, because you did not obey the rules that cinema should close by 12 p.m. or whatever. So fines, penalties, they are like revenue expense. So in one question they have asked detail, you answer it bit by bit. Question number 6, second bit. Capital expenditure, 20,000. Yes. For obtaining the license. Penalties and all revenue expenditure. Renewal fees, 2,000 for the next year. Okay. So now renewal fees for this license only for 1 year you have paid. Okay. So routine renewal fees and all, it's not license related renewal fees. It's a revenue expenditure. This third ka na, second ka answer I want you to write. But it is for the next year. So next year के prepaid में डालेंगे. I want you all to go to notebook with me and write. I hope you all are writing like this. Question number 6, second bit. Expense for obtaining the license, capitalize. Capital expenditure. Capitalize rupees 20,000 as benefit is more than 1 year. Expense for obtaining license, capitalize 20,000 as benefit is more than 1 year. है ना? Long term. I have to written more than 1 year, but long term benefit लिखे तो भी चलेगा. Now in that fine paid, this cinema house, they have paid a fine. Fine paid rupees 1,000. Write off in P&L account. Done. Next. और एक था ना इसमें, तीसरा क्या था? Renewal fees you have paid for next year. Write down the answer. Renewal fees A, B, C. You can write like this. Renewal fees paid is revenue expense, but here it is prepaid expense as it is paid for next year. Check with me again. Renewal fees is routine. No, every year you have to pay renewal fees. Once obtaining the license is capital expenditure, but renewal fees, so you have to pay maintenance fees, you have to pay every year. But this time they said renewal fees is revenue, but it is prepaid because it is for the next year. Okay, right? And if it is for the next year, if it is for the next year, you have to treat it as prepaid. Okay. So I hope nice question number 6. Second bit is clear for all of you. और कोई भी डाउट है तो पूछो. Write down, note down. So here we got the answer for 6th question, second bit. I have done it in 3 parts because part of it was capital expenditure. Fine and all is revenue expenditure. And renewal fees is revenue. But you have paid it for next year. So you take it as prepaid. ठीक है? Right. चलो. अब क्या करें? Next one. Fire insurance 1,000 was paid on 1st of October. Fire insurance 1,000 was paid on 1st of October. It's a revenue expenditure. Yes. And you paid it on October to 31st March. So can we write little detailed answer? This is also a nice one. Question number 6, third one. Insurance premium. Insurance premium paid on. Insurance premium paid on 1st October rupees 1,000. So this is till 31st March. How many months? October, November, December, January, February, March. 6 months is related to this year. But you know that insurance you always pay annual for 12 months. So 500 is revenue expenditure till 31st March. 500 is capital expenditure. 500 is revenue expenditure. till 31st of March, 500 is capital expenditure. Oh, not capital, sorry, I used the wrong word. Prepaid expenditure. So show it in the balance sheet, current assets in the balance sheet. Right like this. 500 is a revenue expenditure. 500 is a expenditure revenue only, but for next year you have paid in advance. So any advance expense for the next year's expense we cannot put now. Who is saying no? Matching concept. Only expense and income should be recorded for the year whether paid or not and all. Right? Next, fourth one. Now, fourth one. Temporary huts were constructed and they were necessary for the construction. That's a capital expenditure. Temporary huts, you need to add this to the cost of the construction of the cinema. So capitalize in the books. Okay. I hope this is all the clear. Either they will say you capital and revenue, but write it with reasoning. State with reason. One second. Huh? Okay. Overhauling expense 25,000 for engine of a motor car to get better efficiency. So if you do some major repairs wherein the efficiency is going to increase, capitalize it in the books. Inaugural expense of 25 lakhs incurred on the opening of new manufacturing unit in an existing business. Inaugural expense of 25,000 incurred on opening new manufacturing unit, okay, in existing business. Okay. In the same business, you have done some branch and all related to expenditure. So frankly, inaugural mein na, they keep offers and promotions. The benefit may go long term. You may get good customers, but then inaugural expenses are always charged off to revenue. In the coming classes, you will do accounting standard 10. Earlier it was fixed asset, now property, plant and equipment. There it is clearly said that these inaugural expenses of 25 lakhs, okay, they should be capitalized, they should be charged off. Okay? Inaugural expense, promotional expense, marketing offers, charge it off to the revenue. Next. Compensation of 2.5 crore paid to workers who opted out for voluntary retirement. Mark it, very important. It is different till your inter and final. AS 15 is there. इनकम टैक्स में सैलरी, ये सब बहुत कम का है, तो नॉलेज वाइज प्रैक्टिकल वाइज स्टार मार्क दिस क्वेश्चन. 2.5 crore is paid to workers who opted for voluntary retirement. ठीक है, so now generally whatever you pay to employees you can charge off in the revenue, but listen all of you, this is a huge expense. At the time of retirement, we pay to employee half month salary as gratuity, PF, retrenchment compensation, VRS. So all these payments, if you put in single year, it will like become very heavy expenditure for the company. So every year, listen, what practically companies do is, whatever is the salary of the employee, say 5,000, half month salary 2,500, P&L to provision for VRS, for gratuity. Next again 5,000, half 6,000, chalo. So 6,000 ka half kitna aaya? 3,000, P&L. So they defer it because the amount is huge. So I want you all to write nice answer for this. Question number 7, third bit. Question number 7, all the bits were simple. So directly third bit answer. Are you all writing? Then I am writing. VRS paid to employee. VRS paid to employee is two minutes. Yeah. VRS paid to the employee is generally a revenue expense. But as amount is huge, rupees 2.5 crore, you can defer it. You can defer it. Okay, right. Sure. Next. You can generally VRS and all the expenses are deferred only. कहाँ थे हम? Third bit, fourth bit. 10,000 spent. 10,000 spent on traveling expense of the directors on the trip abroad for purchase of capital asset. Generally, traveling expenses are charged off to the revenue. But if they are spent for the purchase of capital asset, then capitalize in the books. Yes or no? Whatever traveling expense you have incurred, add it to the cost of the asset which they purchased. Amount received from trade receivables. What do you mean by trade receivables? Your datas, your bills receivable. So whatever amount you receive from trade receivables, it's your routine receipt. I have sold the goods to Shyam. Shyam to sales. Shyam is my receivable. Now bank to Shyam. So this is routine revenue receipt. Fifth one is routine revenue receipt. Amount spent on demolition of building to construct a bigger building. Capital expenditure. So many times on a plot there is old building. We buy it, we demolish it, and we make a huge tower over there for 10 floors. So whatever are the demolition expenditure, they are all added to the cost of the new building. So capitalize in the books. Insurance claim received on account of machinery damaged by fire. Okay? A machinery damage hui, an insurance company is going to give machine. So it will be like, taken as capital receipt. This is not your income. You've paid insurance is your expense. But insurance company is reimbursing the cost of the machinery. Then credit it. Okay? Credit it where? In the machinery. So many times machinery is not sold. It is destroyed in the fire. So you credit it. Okay? Right. I want to repeat. Insurance claim से जो पैसे आते हैं, if they are related to insurance of stock, take it to the P&L account. If they are related to insurance of machine, it's a capital receipt credited in the machinery account. Mark this problem. Huh? It's a nice problem. Seventh one. Okay? Renovation expense. What it will be? Renovation, just it's not here. I'm checking some other questions. So where will you take the renovation expense? Capitalize. Very good. Capitalize in the books. And then to recover the money from our data, we have incurred 10,000 legal expense. Kabhi kabhi na parties, they don't pay the money. So those kind of data who are not ready to pay the money, we send someone or we do some collection expenditure. So these are all like legal expenses to recover the money from your data, routine revenue expenditure. ठीक है? Yeah, some MCQs are there here and some are there on in the website also of the CA CMA material. So we will take it up. We have finished with all the questions. I hope the way I was discussing was clear. If they ask you just write capital revenue, fine. If they ask you write capital revenue or true and false with reasoning, go ahead with that. Okay? Right. So these are all MCQ questions. 5 minutes time given to you. Question number 1, debit. Question number 2, this is 1. तो आप ना अपने आप से आंसर लिखो. एक स्क्रीन में you are able to see how many questions? 1 to 4. करो. I'm here only. 5 minutes time is given to you. Check and tell me the answer. Yes. Start putting your answers, please, in the chat box. Ask any doubts if you have. Yeah, read each question. One minute. I'll scroll up as you all have finished with the first and second question. Karo. The more you try on your own, no, it is good. Yeah, now only. This is not homework. Homework is all the other problems of your study material. CA and CMA. One second. CA and CMA material, whatever you are writing. One minute. I don't know why the screen is going off. हाँ. Fourth से शुरू करो आप. Yeah. Now do the next one. Just 10th answer D. Try. That will be a very good practice. And you have so many fill in the blanks, match the pairs and all also in your book. Do check that, please. Yes, last ones. MCQ questions are there in other books also in the CMA material. Please practice that also. This chapter is very interesting, dear students. The more you practice, the more grip you will have. Finished? Or you want time? Karo. 5 minutes or I am here. Any bit, if you have a doubt, unmute and speak up in the class or put it in the chat. Done? Chalo, let us discuss very quickly. Okay? An expenditure is capital expenditure in nature when receiver of amount is going to treat for purchase of fixed asset. When it increases the quantity of the fixed asset, yes, quantity. It is paid as interest on loan for business. Interest is revenue expenditure. Maintaining the asset is revenue. So out of all this, which is a capital expenditure? B1. When you do capital expenditure, you enhance the fixed assets. Capital expenditures are recorded in balance sheet, trading account, P&L, balance sheet. I'm saying you right from today's beginning of the class. Revenue expenditure you debit in P&L, capital expenditure you debit in balance sheet. If you do vice versa also, the balance sheet will tally, but internal totals will go wrong. Which of the following transaction is of capital nature? Purchase of a truck, replacement of old truck, cost of purchase or all? Yes. Say answers now. It would be glad अगर आप chat में लिखते जाएं. बता तो चले आपको कितना समझ में आया. Which of the following transaction is of capital nature? Purchase of fixed asset. Question number 3, A bit is the answer. You all are having this book spiral material with you, then just put ticks. 5,000 incurred for upgradation of the computer and installation of the RAM and all. Capital expenditure, deferred revenue or none? Capital. Huh? Same laptop or computer, if you are increasing the RAM and memory and all, the benefit will go very long way. So capitalize. Entrance fees 20,000 received by a club is capital receipt, revenue receipt, or how? So entrance fees received by a club. Okay. Entrance fees is received generally only once. So answer is capital receipt. You know, when you become a member, first time you enter Club Mahindra and all, you need to pay 5 lakh, 10 lakhs according to package. Then annual, whatever subscription you pay, they take it as their income. But entrance fees, it will be capitalized. Life membership fees paid by a club, that is also capitalized. It is received by a club. Sorry, not D. It's a receipt. Capital receipt. Life membership is a capital receipt. Cost of the goods purchased for resale. You have purchased the goods for resale. Revenue expense. सोचना ही नहीं है. Revenue expense. Import duty of the material purchased. Revenue, capital, deferred or none? Revenue. If you have paid import duty for importing raw material and on for production, charge it off. Compensation received from government for compulsory acquisition of the land. You have received compensation from the government for compulsory acquisition of land. So revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, deferred or none of this. Because when government is taking your land and giving you compulsory compensation, no, it's like your income. I want to repeat this. Government has this one is a very practical example. Nowadays, your shops are compulsorily taken by government because there's a flyover coming, there's metro work going on. So whatever they pay, that's like a sale consideration for the land. So it's a capital receipt. It's a capital receipt. Clear? Right. All revenue receipt and expenditures are shown in trading and P&L account. ठीक है? Bad debt recovered during the year. If you have recovered the bad debt during the year, take it as your income. Bad debt recovered is taken as income, revenue receipt. When bad debt was incurred, it's a capital expenditure. Now, if bad debt is receipt, it's a revenue receipt. See, if you are watching this now with me, all students are attending this class live, or you are watching as a video. Your videos are off. Some of you are using the chat and giving, some are not giving. So, how do we come to know if this is face-to-face class? You know, आप सबके स्क्रीन पे एक स्क्रीन चलता है आप सबके फेस पे. Do you know it or not? So as a teacher, whether it is 60, 100, 150 students, we can make out who is following, who is just writing, who is not following, who's not interested and still sitting in the class. We can make out. So that opportunity I'm missing. So I want you all to respond. Ma'am, 12th answer you gave debit, we didn't understand. Bad debt when incurred, it's a loss. Charge it off to P&L. So now bad debt recovered is an income. P&L में credit होगा. Insurance claim received on account of machinery, it's a capital receipt. It's a capital receipt. ठीक है? Amount of 5,000 spent on lawyers fees for factory site and all, routine revenue expenditure. Money spent 10,000 on traveling. Now actually their MCQs थोड़े googly थे receipt में या answer was none of the above. मैंने कहीं बताया ना none of the above and all. But other than this it is all routine. So money spent 10,000 as traveling expense of the directors on the trips abroad for the purchase of the capital asset. It's a capital expenditure. You add it to the cost of the asset. ठीक है? Right. Okay. ये भी कर लें true and false. Yeah. This now I'm not giving time. I'm discussing. Again, it's like true and false with reasoning. First one. Expenditure is revenue in nature when the benefit is current period. True. It is true. If the benefit expires in the current period, it's a routine income. Paper purchased for use as stationery. It's a capital expenditure. False. Paper bundles and all you purchase, you write it off in routine revenue expenditure. Purchase of machinery for sale is revenue expenditure. You have purchased the machinery for sale. True. Generally, ma'am, purchase of machinery is a capital expenditure. But you have purchased for sale. You are buying and selling machinery. So it's a revenue expenditure. True. Gratuity and pension paid to the employees after retirement is a deferred revenue expenditure. Okay. Now, it is not deferred. They put it every year only as revenue expense. So just write down false. It is not deferred ki you pay and then you defer it on 8 and 10. Every year you charge off to P&L and you put the money in the gratuity and pension. So it's a revenue expense. So this is false. Bad debt recovered is a revenue receipt. True. Same question is repeated in MCQ. Bad debt is recovered is true. It's your income. Freight paid on purchase of machinery. Is it a revenue expenditure? False. It's a capital expenditure. Freight paid on the purchase of machinery is a capital expenditure. Repainting of a building done every 3 years is a revenue expenditure. आप every 3 years painting denting कर रहे हैं तो it's false. You can defer it, but if you are doing painting every Diwali, charge it off. Premium received on issue of the share is a capital profit. Actually, it's a capital profit. True. You have to issue the share at face value, but if you are getting over and above the face value, the premium, though we write it securities premium, but it's a capital receipt. Agreed. Some of you may be having doubt if the securities premium or share premium is capital receipt, why we are not crediting it to the capital reserve? Because securities premium has got some nice uses, so you will charge it off. So capital profit hai, it's you cannot transfer premium as income to the P&L account. Motor car purchased capitalized generally, but it is standing in the books at 7250. Original cost se koi lena dena nahi hai. WDV minus sales value we should do to get the profit and not original cost. So motor car is standing in the books at 7250. It was sold for 1200. So is there a loss? Yes. Kitna loss aa raha hai? 7250 minus 1200. 6050. 6050 loss. Charge off to P&L. That's what. Now what they are saying is capital loss is 4750 and capital expenditure is 1200. They are trying to break it down. Answer is no. No, false. What is the answer for the 9th one? False. See, when you sell the plant and machinery, whatever is the loss, it's a revenue loss. You need to charge it off to the P&L account. Motor car. Costing 20,000, book value 12,000. Was sold for 17. Okay, great. Purchase 20. Book value 12, sold. So 5,000 is the profit. Will you take it as a capital profit? False. It is false. I mean, say it is a capital profit, but then you charge it off to the revenue account only. Motor car is purchased. It is sold at a loss. So capital receipt ye hai. 17,000. This is a capital receipt. But this loss, sorry, profit. Okay. Okay. I really missed out. Sorry. This will come as true. I missed it. Listen, all of you. I will explain. No problem. Confusion. Loss hua to revenue mein jayega. 1 minute. 12,000 asset. When you have sold for 17,000, 17,000 includes 5,000 receipt. So 17,000 is the receipt on sale of the motor car. It's a capital receipt. This capital receipt includes 5,000 profit also. All clear to all of you? आपने 12,000 का asset 17 में बेचे तो 17 is a capital receipt related to machinery. That 17 includes 5,000 profit is also capital receipt. Later, to close the account, it is transferred to the P&L account. Okay. So I'm going to make you write yes. I know you are saying, ma'am, at the end of the class booster notes नहीं लिखना है. ये chapter में जरूरत नहीं है because this is an analytical skill. Is this the more you practice MCQs, fill in the blanks, true and false, and a number of questions. Okay. I didn't take up the MCQs from the CA book also. but they are like almost same. Subsidy मिल रही है and interest on investment if you receive revenue receipt. Subsidy routine if you receive revenue receipt. If subsidy is related to fixed asset capital receipt. So that's one homework. Now you do it. Any bit, ma'am, institutes material 8 bit we are not getting, click the photo and send. Okay. So that's all for this chapter. Capital and revenue expenditure is over as of now, and we will continue with the next unit in the next class. Okay. In your material also I have given you columns, index. तो वहां पे लिखो मैम्स मटेरियल, कॉन्सेप्ट क्लासेस मटेरियल, then your ICA or CMA material, then past exam papers. Make column like this so that it is clear or not. Okay. Thank you so much for being till the end, and you all are very committed at the base level. See, my inter students, just 2 days back the result came and they are now qualified CAs. So everyone is saying hearty congratulations. So they asked me, ma'am, you are also not asking marks. I said, least bothered. कितने attempt लगे, कितने marks. CA degree add करना है, for that final के 8 subjects, for that inter के 8 subjects, and for that foundation. Foundation base is clear. Inter you can do 2 groups in first attempt. Final you can do 2 groups in first attempt, but the base which you are building now should be super strong. I have made a special video for all of you foundation students and put it up in my YouTube channel, that are you doing CA foundation only to get 200 marks? Then that's not right. So what is it? Just watch in that video. Okay? Right. CA Dipti Chheda is with this name, you have YouTube channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye all of you.